Thank you, Sanjeev sir, for giving me this opportunity. And also, my thanks to the AOS for giving me this opportunity to present this presentation on trabeculectomy under topical anesthesia. Uh, so one thing we need to understand is that topical anesthesia has become a need for cataract surgeon primarily because the incision size has been going on smaller and smaller. So the safety of the surgery has increased because even if there are movements which happen in cataract surgery, they really don't make much of a difference because the entry size of the wound is too small. We have moved to almost 1.8 now. So topical anesthesia for cataract surgery is almost like a norm today. But when it comes to trabeculectomy under topical anesthesia, yes, there are limitations. We do understand that for any anesthesia, there are certain objectives which we want to fulfill. We want to have that patient should have a painless experience. At the same time, we should not face problem because of ocular movement. So akinesia is always useful. And it is always better that the patient forgets all surgical experience. So he is always happy after the surgery. But what we need to emphasize upon that whenever we are choosing for anesthesia for any procedure, we need to weigh between the safety of the procedure, surgeon experience of the surgery, and the eventual outcome. So we need to strike a balance between the safety profile and a comfortable surgeon with the outcome. And if we are able to do that, most of the time we'll be achieving good results with the right anesthesia for that particular surgery. In trabeculectomy, yes, optic nerve is already damaged, and we know there are complications which can happen to optic nerve with retrobulbar and peribulbar injections. So sometimes to have an alternative is a need for trabeculectomy. In the past, we have been often using general anesthesia for people who really cannot afford to have a retrobulbar or a peribulbar block because of extensive damage to the optic nerve and the chances of having a wipeout phenomenon. So we often resorted to general anesthesia, but general anesthesia in all the settings are not possible. So then in those settings, again, where you have got advanced disease and you really cannot afford retrobulbar, peribulbar anesthesia, those are the cases where you need to have an alternative, and a topical anesthesia is often a choice in those cases, which as a surgeon, as a glaucoma specialist, one should have an experience with topical anesthesia. So whenever a need arises, it can be done. But trabeculectomy itself is a procedure which is laden with complication, not only post-operative, but also intraoperative. And if we have another step which can enhance the rate of complication form of retrobulbar, peribulbar injection, it is best avoided. But then we really didn't know if this thing is going to work. But in early 21st century, there have been studies where after the phacoemulsification was becoming a common practice under topical anesthesia, phacotrabeculectomy had also been tried under topical anesthesia, and slowly and gradually it was seen with various studies that topical anesthesia trabeculectomy was a new reality. I mean, now with time, I'm sure it is going to become a very commonplace, just like cataract surgery. But yes, it is on the horizon. It is becoming new reality for all the glaucoma surgeons that they can go ahead with topical anesthesia without compromising on patient experience, surgeon comfort, and the outcome. In fact, a lot of studies have even shown that if we compare topical anesthesia with peribulbar, retrobulbar anesthesia, and trabeculectomy, they more or less have the same outcomes, and patient experience has also been good. And at the same time, the chances of complication associated with injections are reduced. But when it comes to a surgeon, when you have to move as a glaucoma surgeon, if somebody has to move to topical, obviously there are so many doubts which we have. How are we going to manage the ocular movement? How are we going to see that we have adequate exposure? Patient is anxious because he's already aware that, okay, now I have to undergo surgery, the disease is advanced, it is not getting controlled with medication. And what about pain? Because he has experienced pain in past, he's having some allergy, some form of complication which is preventing him from continuing medical medication. So topical anesthesia, it becomes a challenge even for a patient to decide for whether he'll be able to manage, undergo the surgery, and also for the surgeon as well, because of so many complications which are usually associated with trabeculectomy. But as has been pointed out previously, the biggest thing is the mental block. Now, if you are a surgeon who is competent to perform trabeculectomy under peribulbar anesthesia or retrobulbar anesthesia with good confidence, I think you can. I mean, I would say a surgical load case of say, at least 100 surgeries in the past you have done, and you are good at making flaps and performing your trabeculectomy routinely, then I think one can think of shifting to topical anesthesia as well. That can be augmented with intracameral anesthesia or sometimes even with conjunctival anesthesia if required. Now, to achieve the desired success, it has been very well emphasized in previous talk that you need to have the right patient selection. There is no point having someone who is not cooperative. If a person cannot hear you, doesn't understand you, person cannot fixate anywhere, often happens in trabeculectomy, or a person with head nodding movements, or because most of these patients are old, sometimes neurological illnesses are there, and even hearing loss. All these things make patient uh, very uncomfortable when they are undergoing for surgery. They are not able to cooperate with you. At the same time, obesity, diabetes status, or some COPD, which can affect the draping of the patient for the surgery, can again be a problem. And then if you want to have a good cooperative patient, you cannot afford sedation. So that again becomes a problem. So when it comes to selecting a patient, you need to have a patient who is say moderate to severe glaucoma with good fixation and is able to understand you. And you know that eyes, it is a possibility to have good exposure without compromising any other tissues. So when it comes to surgeon, there has to be adequate proficiency for performing for surgery. You need to have confidence. You need to overcome you need to have belief that it can be done, first of all. And when you're doing surgery, because the eye has to be in downward gait for most of the time of the surgery, it is often good to give breaks to the patient where the patient can look down in between so that he gets a break and you can perform the surgery. And with the anesthesia, with the bulbar block, with the retrobulbar and peribulbar block gone, you get good conjunctiva without chemosis to work upon, which is very, very necessary when it comes to glaucoma surgery. So with right patient selection and having good understanding of your own abilities, you can go ahead performing a good trabeculectomy and achieve the desired result. I'll just share one of the videos which I have got from my chief instructor. This is Professor Sanjeev Gupta demonstrating one of these trabeculectomy under topical surgery. So it's a limbus-based procedure. And you can see with the cooperative patient, when the patient is looking down, how good is the exposure without the superior rectus traction. And with the superior rectus traction gone, so many other complications which can happen because of it are actually gone. I mean, superior rectus brittle, if one doesn't have to take, it becomes so easy. One of the things which is missing here is that when we do a diathermy, even if we do light diathermy, that doesn't cause much of a pain. And a few drops of topical anesthesia here and there does the purpose. You have to be very gentle and careful while holding this flap. And this is the time where I'm telling you that you need to give those wriggle breaks to the patient, where you can just leave the flap and ask the patient to look down. At this point of time, intracameral injection of lignocaine helps. Not only does it reduce the pain associated with performing iridectomy, it makes the overall experience good for the patient. You can at the same time you can make a side port entry which will help us in titrating the bleb when it comes to. You can see the amount of bleed is less just because of one inadvertent injury to the blood vessel. There is slight chemosis. Otherwise, it is very good. Look at the conjunctiva. I mean, absolutely no chemosis anywhere. So this kind of conjunctiva is going to give very good end results when we follow up these patients later. And in fact, in one of the studies where they have compared the long-term outcomes with topical anesthesia have been equally good compared to peribulbar anesthesia. So we see that the patient is happy with all ocular movement, no pain, and a relatively safe surgery performed in these cases. So trabeculectomy under topical anesthesia is definitely a reality, which should be encouraged in patient because it is not about your own choice. There are times when it is a need for patient, especially in those advanced cases. Thank you very much for your patient hearing, and thank you, sir, again for giving me this opportunity and the video. Thank you, sir.